All right, guys, exciting times. Our next guest is kind enough to join us once again. He has been called out. He sent his message just today. And now to discuss everything, Donald Trump's favorite fighter, Colby Chaos Covington himself. Welcome back, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, boys. It's good to talk to my boys from down under, Dennis and Casper, on the best podcast and radio that there is in MMA. They've taken their journalism to new heights, and they write real news. They don't write fake news like all these other so-called journalists. So it's good to be back to talk to you, boys.
Thanks, man. Thanks. And look, it's just jumping right into it. Speaking of news, this video that you just dropped on your social media, just a month removed from the UFC 298, where Ian Machado Garry beat Jeff Neal, and you just dropped a big video on social media. First of all, man, I gotta ask, how does it feel to have this video out? You just dropped it. It's just been out for a couple of hours now. I see there's been a big reception online already.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. Just if you live in a glass house, you definitely shouldn't be throwing stones. So he wanted to be in the spotlight. Him and his little whore, gold digging wife wanted to be in the spotlight. They wanted their 15 seconds of fame. So here it is, but it's not going to be for the right reasons that they wanted. Him and his wife, they want to be worshipped. They want people to really like them and love them, but people don't. They see how unauthentic they are and just how grimy they are. Like writing books about being a wag. Like, dude, that's not blue collar American. That's not like what this country was founded upon, just in its principles of values and morals that we have in America. So it's disgusting. So, he wanted the spotlight. He's going to get it. So, if he wants this fight, he begged on his hands and knees. Oh, Colby, please fight me. Please fight me. It doesn't really matter who I fight. I get a big paycheck. I'm the biggest star in this division. So it doesn't really matter if I fight him or I fight Joe Schmo over at the MMA Journalism Factory. I'm getting a big paycheck. So, like for him, if he wants to come out, if he really wants this fight, I need to know that you're serious about business, because the last time I saw we did business in December, he didn't show up for the press conference. He's not reliable. I'm a company man. I love this company, UFC, Hunter Campbell, Dana White, and my boys, Ari Emanuel. So I love all those, respect those guys. I want to do good business. I don't know if this guy's dependable. He can show up. So he needs to show me that he's a businessman. He wants his fight. If he wants his fight, he has 3 stipulations, guys. I told the world today on social media, he has 3 stipulations if he wants his fight. First one is he needs to turn his comments on social media, on Instagram. Him and his wife turn off their comments. They're all up in their feelings. If you can't take words, you definitely can't get locked in a UFC octagon with Colby Chaos Covington. So that's the first stipulation. They both have to turn on their comments before the fight. Second stipulation, since we know that Ian Garry doesn't wear the pants in that relationship, Layla needs to get on her knees and hands and beg for it. I want to hear her best explanation of why that I should come out and fight him. Because what does it do for me? Why should I go back in the rankings? This is, he's a bum. Like, I don't need time. He can sit, her husband can sit in the corner and watch why she does this, just like they do in the bedroom every night. So, that's second stipulation. Layla needs to get on her hands and knees and beg for why this fight happens. And then third stipulation, boys, and this is a foregone conclusion. When I whip the shit out of this little fucking goofball, fucking Irish ghost looking motherfucker, he has to let his wife star on my shoulder in the next America's Pick, my bookie, America's Pick of the Week video. So, the fans know something's been missing in my latest My Bookie commercials, and I'm saving it for a special someone. Layla, she wants to be famous. Here's your 15 seconds of fame, sweetie.
We saw, man, big video, obviously big stipulations. So let's just go through them. You mentioned the comments. What do you think happens if and when the comments are turned back on?
If and when the comments are turned back on, then I'll know they're serious about doing business and they want this fight. And I'll have my lawyers draft up the contract and we'll get this fight going as soon as possible. So, they need to fill these stipulations. They need to show me that they're serious about doing business, because, I do big business. I always show up. I've never pulled out a fight. I go into fights with broken bones, sicknesses, this and that. I always show up and do my job because I love this company. I love the UFC. They've changed my life 10 times over. So, I'm thankful to be living this American dream provided by the UFC. So I want to do the biggest and best business for them. It doesn't matter who I fight. I can fight anybody and I'll fight them all. It doesn't matter. I'm the best in the fucking world. at welterweight, and I know that deep down inside. My last fight wasn't a reflection of who I am. Just because I had a break in my foot in 3 different spots within the first 30 seconds of the fight, that doesn't dictate who Colby Chaos Covington is. I fought every UFC champion the last decade straight. So, my greatness is unparalleled. I'm leaving a legacy that it doesn't matter. I'm gonna clear out this division. They'll know who the best welterweight of all time was. So, it doesn't matter if I fight him. So if he wants to fight, he's got to come through with the 3 stipulations.
Just going to the second stipulation, Colby. I know, Layla asking for the fight. I'm just curious. Have you heard anything from Ian in this period of time? Has he DM'd you at all outside of the video that he sent your way? Has Layla, anyone from his camp been in touch with you previously? And have you heard anything from anyone since this video's dropped a few hours ago?
I mean, he's DM'd me a few times before, and you can tell it's obviously not him. It's his little alleged gold digging hoe wife, Layla, that's doing all the talking for him. She's claiming to be from Harvard, know all these smart people. So, she's the one obviously running his account. You can tell it's not coming. The words aren't coming from him. So, they're pathetic. They're ultimate feelings champions. They're up in their feelings, turning off the comments. Man, if you can't take the comments from the people that make this company go round, man, that's sad. It's not worth my time. You don't deserve to be locked in a cage with me. And if you're already fucking salty and up in your feelings about, some fans' comments, you won't handle being in the octagon with me. I don't want to see a suicide patient go into a mental asylum after I'm done with them. So, he needs to turn back on the comments and let the fans speak, because the fans deserve that. They should be able to get in the comments and tell you about what they think about you and what they see, what your characteristics and personality is. And everybody knows that it stinks and it's disgusting. It's despicable. And, they're going to have to do that if they want this fight.
What were the DMs? What was Ian or whoever was writing? What were they saying?
I don't know, just some cuss words, I'm going to do this to you, I'm going to do that to you. Honestly, I didn't pay attention. I get so many DMs every day, thousands of DMs every day, from hot models, from Megan Fox, from different ladies on the internet. So
Megan Fox DM'd you?
She DM'd me, yeah, before the last fight.
What did she say?
She just said, she respected the character that, the character that I am. I'm a larger than life personality. I turn my personality up to 11. I didn't care what people think of me. So she respects people like that aren't afraid to go against the grain and just be who they are. So she also said that, she thinks that I get too much hate and, I'm not as bad as they say I am. So,
wow.
Shout out to Megan Fox for the support and being a fan of me and my work. We're just getting started. I'm going to bring that belt back to you, baby.
Yeah, that's some real what's it called, inspiration. We're all gonna do it for Megan Fox. I was gonna ask you though, you want Layla to beg. What are you looking for? Are you looking for a video? What exactly are you after in this stipulation?
Yeah, so stipulation number 2, I'm just looking for Layla to get on her hands and knees. She's used to being there for many different men, as she stated in her book, so, she's used to her corner, her husband being in the corner and watching from the corner, in a chair like a cuck would do. So, I'm just asking that she gets on her hands and knees and begs for it. Tell me why I should waste my time with you guys. Why should I even come out and give you guys an opportunity at facing the biggest star in this division, the guy that it doesn't matter who he fights, he's going to have the most eyeballs on him. Why is it worth my time? I don't see seriousness out of you guys. I don't see you as potential threats and someone that I want to do business with. You guys aren't dependable. So obviously Layla wears the pants in this relationship. It's not, Ian's a little kid, she's the one that's running his social media. She's the one that's, his lawyer and running his whole life. So, I just want her to get on her hands and knees where she used to be and beg for it. And if she does that, then, we can get down to business. But obviously, the third stipulation still has to happen. When I beat his ass, because it is a foregone conclusion, it's inevitable that I will smack the shit out of him and change him from an Irishman to some other, ethnicity after I'm done with him. So you gotta come through with it. And if you don't do these things, boys, listen, they will be held to a court of law. I'm not playing, man. I'm going to have my lawyers draft up contracts because I got a big team behind me. I got a lot of, big dogs in my corner, big dogs that are very smart and intelligent and, patriots in this country. So if they don't follow through with this, they're getting fined, boys. Like, we're going to have to find that person. And I'm going to donate.
So you want
to
this
charity.
in writing? You want everything in writing, basically. Like, if the stipulations are going to be met, you want an actual contract for it.
Absolutely, for sure. If they don't turn off their comments, the fight's off. There's no fight. I'm moving on to the next guy in division. I can fight a lot of different people, and I'll fight anybody. I'll fight them all. The UFC knows that. Doesn't matter who it is. Put me in there with anybody. I'll prove to you that I'm the best in the world. So if these stipulations don't happen, no fight. I'm moving on. So they got to turn on the comments, and then fight's on. Layla, you got to get on your hands and knees and beg. Fight's on, and then after the fight, when I smash him, because it's inevitable, it's destiny. Everybody knows I'm the savior of this division. Then he has to let his wife, stand with me for 60 seconds, get her 15 seconds of fame, because boy, she wants 15 seconds of fame so bad. They want to be so famous. Here you go. You get the A-lister. You get a celebrity. You get to come be famous with me, baby. Stand on my arm for only 60 seconds, Ian. You have to lend your wife out. Only 60 seconds you're lending your wife out. And, we'll get this video done. That's probably about how long Ian lasts in the bedroom. So I'm sure it's not going to be much time and much of an issue for him to agree to these terms.
I was going to ask, do you think that these are sort of accepted? And how do you see that last one playing out? I imagine that would be the most awkwardest part of this whole thing. You guys, no doubt, are going to talk a whole bunch of shit between each other leading up to the fight. Then you'll fight. Unless there's some kind of handshake at the end and everybody sings Kumbaya, I imagine the third one is going to be the toughest of this whole, of these stipulations.
Oh, that's why there will be a contract and there will be a court of law. They will have to fulfill their obligations and their word. You give someone your word. It doesn't matter if your feelings are hurt after I crush your soul. You still got to follow through. So definitely got to turn the comments on, because that's just pathetic. Come on, guys, think about it. Think about if I turn my comments off. Dude, I've gotten death threats. I was on a favelas list of a 50,000 bounty to take my head if I ever went back to Brazil. So I've never blocked anybody. Anybody can say anything. I've been in real danger. Shout out to Reed Harris, who protected my back. He got picanhas, hot dogs, burgers, all types of things thrown at his face, but he protected me getting out of that arena, and he made sure I got back to America safe and sound. So God bless Reed Harris. God bless the UFC staff, all the great security they have over there, and just the company in general. They keep us all safe. So if they're scared and they want to be in a safe space and they don't want comments against them, it's not worth my time. It's just a waste of time for me. And then obviously, like I said, the third stipulation, like, he's just going to have to let it happen. I mean, it's not like he doesn't let his wife be borrowed out on a regular basis anyways. That's what she's bragging about being a wife and a girlfriend and being a cuck, living with her ex-husband, and that's his nutritionist. It's just, the whole thing is just, it's disgusting. And it won't be hard. I mean, whatever. He gets his ass whooped, he should let his wife go be with a real man, a beast, a fucking A-list, multi-million celebrity. Like he's a joke, dude. He makes peanuts. Like, what, this is why you have to fulfill these obligations, because why am I going to waste my time to fight you? Otherwise I can fight anybody.
Dude, so I got to say, and you said in your video, you said, be careful what you wish for. I got to ask, in terms of the actual matchup, how do you see the fight between you and Ian going? How do you see you guys matching up, and what kind of finish do you sort of envision if you guys do get into that octagon?
Yeah, he won't make it to the championship rounds. He won't make it past round 3. I mean, you guys saw what happened. He was fighting a busboy, a part-time fighter that serves bloomin' onions for a living. And now you want to come to America's champion, to King of Miami, to Donald Trump's favorite fighter? I mean, come on, he has no chance. I've beaten every champion. I've fought in all the top champions the last decade. I've been at the top of this division. Everybody knows my greatness and my legacy, and I'm still in my prime right now. So it doesn't matter who's next. It can be Ian or it could be the next guy, but I'm getting back to that title and I'm getting that belt back. That's my belt. I know that I'm the best in the world, and my last fight isn't who I am, and everybody knows that. They could see in the fight that I was obviously injured and hurt and not fighting how I normally fight. So, I just see the fight being an easy fight. He split decision. He barely got through with the busboy. What's he going to do with America's champ? He's going to get smashed. He's going to get MAGA bombs on top of the head. We're going to make America great again. And Donald Trump's getting back elected in office in November.
Let me ask you, Ian said that he can match you for pace and cardio. What did you make of that comment?
Oh gosh, that's so funny, man. I mean, what do you guys make of that comment? He's never been in a 5-round fight. He's gassing out after 3 rounds with the busboy. You guys think he can keep up with my cardio?
I mean, I hope we get to find out. I like the matchup. I find it quite interesting. Let me play devil's advocate for a second. Obviously, there was a huge reaction after your last fight against Ian, right? There was a lot of boos after the fight. But after Ian's fight, there was arguably more boos. And I'm wondering, what do you make of the notion that, like, he's arguably the most hated guy at welterweight right now? A fight for you right now against Ian, it works. It's a great way to get, like, a lot of those fans back. What do you make of that notion?
You know, I make it the notion that I just want to do the biggest and best fights for the UFC. It doesn't really matter what he is or what he's done. I mean, people hate him because he's a little prick and he's just not a good human being. I mean, it's just everything he stands upon, and him and his wife and his family it's disgusting. And we need to get rid of this kid. And I'm the perfect guy to get rid of him. I'm the perfect company man that will end this kid's turn this kid's lights out, end his dreams. He'll never be able to go big. Oh, let me get these big fights. Let me get this money fight. No, you don't deserve the fight with the money fight, and I'm going to show you why. So, I'm ready, and I want to do the biggest and best business for the UFC and the company. And, we'll see who that is. I want to, and I'm the people's champ for a reason. I come out here as the savior to give the people what they deserve, entertainment and, smashing these bums that they need to go back to prelim. He's a prelim fighter, guys. I'm a main event attraction, pay-per-view superstar, like big checks, big fucking checks all the fucking time. I'm wiping my tears every night with these big fucking checks, dog. What's up?
Out of curiosity, have the UFC contacted you about anything, about any kind of fights at the moment? I know you're recovering from injury, the foot. Have the UFC said anything? And have you spoken to them about the Ian fight at all?
Yeah, I got to get healthy. That's the most important. 3 breaks in a bone in my foot. So, it still gives me a little trouble, like a little soreness today. So, my timeline, I got to get healthy first. It doesn't, like I said before, guys, it doesn't matter who I fight. I'm getting paid big because I'm just a superstar in this sport and the biggest draw in the welterweight division. So I can fight anybody. So that's why I'm trying to tell them if they want to fight and they're serious about fighting, you just got to follow through with the 3 stipulations. So besides that, I will get healthy. And by this summer, I'm sure I'll be headlining or co-headlining a big pay-per-view main event, doing good business for the UFC like I always do. So, but I will need to be healthy, and that's most important. So, I haven't talked to the UFC about anything. But they know I'm on board with anything. I'm the ultimate company. I'll fight anybody. I fought the pound for pound number 1. The last fight, that guy's the pound for pound number 3. That guy, he couldn't finish me on 1 fucking foot. Like, he couldn't give me a scratch on my face. I left the fucking fight perfectly. It's the first time I've been in a fight and didn't have like a scratch from like taking someone down or nothing. There wasn't anything on my face. So that's pound for pound number 3. I'm on 1 foot from second 1 to minute 25. So, everybody knows it doesn't matter who it is, dude. I'm coming out. I'm defending titles of the most elusive and prestigious titles in the sport today. Donald Trump's favorite fighter. He'll be front row. The most famous person in the world. Doesn't matter who I fight. Most famous person in the world. People's champ, King of Miami, America's champ. I'm defending our freedoms and liberties here in America. Bring them on. Bring anybody this summer.
So you're saying
don't bring anybody you want back.
So you're saying July, sort of June, July time period. And I also want to ask, I know does Ian, what is the time limit here? Because I think, did you mention 24 hours? How long does Ian, because we're kind of like a few hours into this thing. Are there any time extensions? Break that side of it down for us.
No time extensions, boys. Like, if they don't show we're serious about business, it's not worth my time, guys. Why should I waste my time? Why should I do this? They need to show me why I should do it, because it doesn't matter who I fight. I'm getting a big fat paycheck. So show me why. Show me you're serious about business. You want this fight, this blockbuster fight where you're going to get smashed, but it's the biggest paycheck you're going to get. So you're willing to get the losing paycheck because you're going to get paid more. So why? Show me why. They got 24 hours, boys. Did I say, yeah, 24 hours? Yeah. I don't got time to waste, man. If you want to show me you're serious about business, then we can get this locked up and signed by tomorrow. So, but the 3 stipulations must be signed on to and agreed to.
Hey, just before you mentioned Leon and the last fight, I wanted to ask you because after UFC 298, Dana White spoke about how Leon accepted 3 opponents for UFC 300. None of them materialized. Were you shocked by that? And would you care to guess who those 3 were?
No, I wasn't shocked by that. I think it was fake news from the start. Everybody knows the people that they wanted to match him up against were all going into Ramadan, so none of them were going to fight. So they're just trying to hype up Leon because he's got no hype. He's got no star power. The guy's unoriginal. He's a deadbeat. He's a lowlife, dude. He's fucking, he's not a company man. He doesn't care about doing good business for the company. So no, I wasn't surprised. But how funny of it, guys, that not even remember the racist Bilal Muhammad got mentioned to get a title shot. So that's pretty freaking funny, guys. He needs some activity. What's his activity level been at lately? I mean, he's squatting on that ranking, guys. He needs to come out here and fight, or they need to strip him of that ranking. The cream rises to the top. I'm rising to the top. And, I thought it was pretty funny, that they didn't even want to give it to Remember the Racist, because how can they trust that guy? He's saying things like someone got a title shot because the color of their skin, white privilege. That's disgusting. That's racism, guys, and that never goes away. So I don't blame the ESPN, the UFC, and all the executives for not giving a title shot to Remember the Racist, because he's a racist and he's not a good person, and he doesn't draw, and the fans don't care about him. So I thought it was pretty funny.
It was crazy the way it played out. Like the fact that I think it was Islam, Hamza, and Shavkat, the most people were guessing that were actually given the title shots or offered the title shot. So the way that played out was just insane. Anyway, just quickly, before we talk about the rest of the division, a quick reminder from our good friends, the St. Patrick's Day Shamrock Shavers Manscaped, about taking care of your junk downstairs. This year, don't just chase rainbows. Make your own pot of gold and groom your little leprechaun with the leaders in below the kilt care Manscaped. Say goodbye to your clover forest with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 and let your confidence shine bright. Embrace the luck of the Irish and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Meet your new lucky charm for St. Patrick's Day if you get the Performance Package 5.0, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. The trimmer comes with 2 interchangeable next-gen skin-safe blade heads, 1 for a classic trim and a new foil blade to go smooth wherever your heart desires. You've got the dual LED spotlights. It's got the compact case, makes it an ideal companion, ready for any adventure or last-minute travel plans. Trimming the hedges on your Irish garden isn't just for below the belt. Complete your look with Manscaped's signature Beard Hedger Pro Kit and the Handyman Electric Face Shaver. Whether you're sculpting your beard or cleaning up your neckline, these are always the right tools for the job. Isn't that right, Dennis?
That's right, man. You guys can use the code word submission right now to get 20% off and free shipping. That's 20% off and free shipping today. Manscaped, absolute game changer. Jump on and use that code word submission today. Help out the show and help out yourself this St. Patrick's Day. But Colby, the other thing we wanted to get your thoughts on the division is MVP. He had his big UFC debut the other weekend, and he had that awesome Undertaker entrance. But what did you think of his win over Kevin Holland and his performance?
The guy's trash. He's a bum. I mean, look at his last fight before that. He got beat by a guy that fights in Indian casinos. He got beat by Mike Perry. We saw how the Mike Perry experience ended up in the UFC. Guy getting his nose crooked, smashed, and knocked out like 3 or 4 times in a row. So it just shows, I mean, the kid's just hyped. They're trying to hype him up. They're giving him a guy in Kevin Holland who's a complete scrub. I mean, 50-50 fighter at best in the division. So, and that's all you could do, just that pathetic fight and that pathetic walkout. Like, that wasn't entertaining, man. Like, no, dude, like, it doesn't work. It only works when you're good and you're at the top of the division, not when you're fighting scrubs that shouldn't even be fighting in the UFC in the first place. So I didn't make anything of it. I just saw another easy money paycheck if the UFC ever wants to give me that in the future.
And I know that we spoke about you and Shavkat potentially mixing it up in the future, but Jack Della Maddalena actually beat Gilbert Burns in a pretty impressive fashion. And now he called out Shavkat for Perth in August. I know he's got a broken arm, but I got to ask, does that basically rule Shavkat out for you in terms of what's next? Because it looks like Shavkat wants that fight as well. Would you prefer to see what happens there first before you potentially look at either one of those guys in the future? I guess 2 contenders fighting each other in Australia later this year.
Well, we'll see how things play out with Bushrat and Smushface. So, we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I'm fighting the winner of that for the title. we don't know how much longer Leon's going to be around. He doesn't fight very often. He just sits out there and he's just trying to squat on that position with the belt that, he doesn't even deserve. So, we'll see how things play out. He could retire too, like he just doesn't seem like a guy that wants to be active and make a legacy. I think he's happy with and content with his career, and, so he might be going away. So, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'll fight anybody, and the UFC knows that. I'll fight anybody. I fought the pound for pound number 1, number 3, this and that. Didn't mean shit. I was right there. I thought I beat him, and a lot of people thought I beat him on judges' scorecards. But I didn't get the nod by the judges. By a round or two. Like, big deal. So but I'm still here. I ain't going nowhere. I've been to the top of this division for a decade plus. So the cream always rises to the top. That's why I'm moving up in the rankings, and that's why I'm going to be your future champion. It's inevitable. It's destiny, and I'm coming back with a vengeance. I've learned. All your losses are always about learning. I've learned from those losses. I'm going to make better decisions and better choices going forward. And no one can play this human chess better than me in the UFC. So, like I said, boys, whoever wins between that, we can fight for the title. Whatever the UFC wants. Company man, love the company. Love Dana White. Love Hunter Campbell. Ari Emanuel, thank you so much. Shout out to Happy Dad. Thank you for sponsoring me, guys. Love you guys. Shout out to the best sportsbook, the king of the sportsbook, realmybookie.ag. So love MyBookie and what they've done and how they've really helped me out. My training to bring in high-level trainers, high-level training partners and get the best training. And let's go to the next level. Let's see who's next.
Dude, I can't wait. I can't wait for the big return. As we wrap, I just saw on the news, and I got to just quickly get your thoughts on this. Your old rival, Jorge Masvidal, he's taking on Nate Diaz in a boxing match. It's actually going to happen at light heavyweight. The boxing match is happening at light heavyweight. It's going to be 10 rounds. A light heavyweight boxing match is 175 pounds for people that don't know. What's your reaction to this boxing match being put together? I just got to know, because I know you had the big history with Jorge. You and Nate have kind of circled around each other a few times. What do you anticipate from this boxing match? What's your reaction to it being put together?
I mean, just two complete washouts of the UFC that are, 40 years old, should be in retirement homes. Like, they're going to go out there, these sloppy old fucking dudes. They can't perform in the UFC no more at this high elite level like me, and at the top of the division. They're both fucking, got, 10 seconds of fame in the UFC, living off these fights from 10 years ago. So, let them go do their thing. I mean, if the UFC is signing off on it, I'm all about whatever the UFC signs off on. I could care less about George. He needs to stop talking to my big brother Chael, though, man. Guys, that's the real fight. Like, why is he talking to Chael? Everybody saw what I did to George. It was the easiest fight of my life. I fucking smacked that little scrub around and fucking play with it. Spoke in his ear. He's my little bitch, little brother. I mean, imagine if my big brother, Uncle Chael, the Westland gangster, the biggest biceps in martial arts industry. Like, imagine if he got a hold of him. Chael would fucking squash Jorge like a little fucking bug. So he needs to stop talking to my big brother. Everybody knows what happened there. And who gives a fuck about that scrub ass fucking boxing fight?
He lived a hard life. He saw people littering in his streets. Chael did. So nothing but respect for the American gangster.
It's crazy. 20 years ago, his parents were only making like $100,000.
I know.
Kind of poverty level then.
I know. And their pool was small, and had to borrow the Mercedes-Benz. Anyway, we could go on forever. Colby, thank you so much for stopping by. Follow them out on Twitter at Colby Cov MMA, and the in-state's now officially Colby Covington. I think it used to be Colby Cov MMA. Now it's Colby Covington. The big change, make it official. That's where all the sexy DMs happen. That's where Megan Fox stops by with the DMs. Love chatting with you, Colby. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Thanks for having me as always, boys. Talk to you soon. Have a good day.